All right, welcome to the Dixon Legacy Podcast once again. So remember, subscribe, comment, share, like, right? We need to share the good news that we're talking about. And what we're doing is we call it mentorship through conversation, right? That's the sort of theme that we go by. And what we try and do is we try and just talk about experiences that we dealt with years ago, right? Maybe in your teens, maybe in your 20s, whatever. And then fast forward 30 years later, how do we sort of think about the stuff we were going through back then? So back then, you kind of really didn't think you were just going. And now that you think back on that experience, right, just comment on your thoughts back then that you can remember, and then your thoughts now, right? And then hopefully somebody who's going through the same experience, because as you know, like we all go through the same experiences, and somebody may get some value from just listening to our conversation, and then they can use that as a stepping stone to get further ahead, right? Or maybe they see a roadblock and they say, hey, because I listen to these guys, I'm going to try this. You know what I mean? So that's the intent. And today we're just talking about time and what does that mean to you?
Okay.
So let's just start it. So, I mean, for me, I always say if you're on time, you're late. And if you're early, you're on time. One of the big things that I try and do with my kids, and I try and make sure that that they understand it. And I set the example by always leaving early. Right, I try not to rush when I'm going out because you're just stressed when you're rushing. So what are your thoughts on time?
For me, time is everything.
Yeah.
Time is everything. I've spent years wasting time.
Okay.
Right, particularly when I was younger.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I recognized that it's the single, I'll call it a commodity, that you cannot ever get back.
Right.
You can get back money.
That's correct.
You can get back almost anything that's tangible, but you can never ever replace or restore time. Even in sleep, you can't restore time. You cannot make it back up. Right. And it wasn't until I harnessed the idea of controlling time, planning, and making sure that my time counted, that my life began to shape up.
Okay, so give me an example when you said that you wasted time, right? So what I want you to try and do is just draw an example of when you look back, you say, okay, I wasted time. And then what I want you to try and focus on, if you can, is when is that switch? Like, when did the switch go off for you? Did you even realize the switch went off? That's another thing. But when did the switch go off for you to say, hey, I'm wasting time, and then here's the steps I'm taking to now sort of correct that?
For me, it was the beginning of third year university.
Okay.
My first year and second year. My first year was a complete wash.
Okay. So you're just partying, you're doing the frosh week and all that stuff.
I had a
So speaking of time, you had a good time. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of academics,
Yeah.
And academic dedication. I did the work, some of it.
Yeah.
But not sufficient to carry me to where I needed to be.
Okay.
Right?
So did you get that sticker shock when your grades came in and it was lower than you thought it was?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. And I learned half a lesson because it took a second year to get to learn the full lesson.
Yeah.
Right. And when I learned that full lesson, it was a reset.
Okay.
I got the warning of a lifetime.
Who did you get the warning from?
From the registrar.
Okay. Even the name registrar, that sounds like ominous, man.
When the university sent me a note.
Okay.
Because you don't have parents there anymore saying, okay, all right, get up. I remember my father banging on the wall, get up, why?
Yeah.
Right? It was serious.
Yeah.
And he recognized it. And coming from where he did, recognizing that, my dad was raised in, a little house in Kingston where, it was you could say, I'd be exaggerating if I said it was 20 by 20.
Right.
You know, with
Yeah.
4 people,
Yep.
you know, 4 people, 5 in total, including my grandfather, and him recognizing that in order to make it out, he had to use every opportunity, and that meant to use the time to the best of his capability. He did that.
Yeah.
But then he had a spoiled child who didn't really recognize the necessity.
Who was that spoiled child? You?
Oh, I think that would be me. Well,
Yeah.
hold on a second. Yeah.
All right, fix it up, man. Fix it up.
Sorry about that. Oh my god, it flipped off. Okay then. Yeah. Sorry about that. So
rest it down on your shoulder.
On my shoulder?
On
Okay.
your back of your neck.
There you go. Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, that would have been me. I gotta go. So that would have been me.
Yeah.
And I really, I really had to come into my own. It was when I got that warning that if I continued down the path that I was on, that I was going to be out of university with no opportunity to return, and my life was at a crossroads, quite literally.
Yeah.
That I began to take my time seriously, academically.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
Right? So I really, really dug in, and I began to apply the time.
Okay.
That I learned how to plan my time and treat my academic work the way I treated. I was a very good soccer player.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
That's all right. Pick it up, man. That's all right. That's what we do here. Everything is real life.
No, but I began to, apply the same amount of time, the same amount of aggression, and respect for time to my academic work that I did to my athletics.
All right. So that's a key piece, man, because that's one thing I want to sort of touch on, because a lot of times what we do is we put more importance on things. So you have segments in your life, and you put more importance on things than others, right?
Priorities.
But we don't sort of apply the same techniques to each thing.
No.
Right? So I think that's one of the things that if we can tap into is like, okay, so, this is my number one priority, and this may be number 2 and number 3. But if we use the same techniques or the same principles to each one, then that will pull up the number 2 and the number 3. Yeah. So it may not match number 1 because that's what you love to do, or that's what's present in your mind at the time, but it'll pull up number 2, 3, and 4.
And it also gives you the wherewithal to recognize that priorities 2 and 3, it's not that they're not priorities. They just need to be placed appropriately.
Right.
So you can get all the things you need to get done completed.
Yeah.
Right?
And sometimes it takes that outside kick in the pants.
Oh boy.
To do it. That's what,
So in a word, where time management was concerned, I was whatless.
Okay.
Really, But it wasn't until I really, it was the second lesson was really when I decided what I wanted to do.
Right.
And, there was a miraculous lesson where I learned that life is about 3 things, really, which ultimately culminated in the career that I'm in now.
Okay.
Time, cost, and scope.
Okay.
Other way around, scope, time, cost.
Yes, yeah.
They call it the triple constraint, and that's what anybody who's doing any kind of project work live by. Right? Especially scope and time.
Okay.
What do you have to do? And how much time do you have to do it?
Right.
And if you don't have the ability to control those things, you will not make the most of your life. Right? So,
and that's a nice way to simple it down. And you can apply that to anything that you do. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Ties back to what you just said.
Yes.
It's about priority management.
Yes, yeah.
What do you have to do? And how much time do you have to do it?
Right.
Right? Yeah. So these were the key things, that really hit me hard. And I realized I could not be a good project manager, project deliverer, project anything, or professional in any way if I didn't get that right.
Right.
right?
And this all came from that letter?
It
From the
started with the
registrar?
letter. And all the warnings associated to it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
And then, so how do you turn the switch?
How do I turn the switch? Well,
Yes.
I tell you what. You're saying if I was my 30 or if I when I look in through the eyes of myself 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to ask me what was I thinking?
Yes.
I was always thinking about what was now.
Okay.
I was always thinking about immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always thinking about the fact that what was most important to me should have the most time or all the time.
Right.
So I neglected everything else.
Okay.
And I do see that, many people, I was that same person.
Yeah.
Always found myself foregoing things that, suddenly became immediate priorities, because that's what happens. If you do what you want to do and neglect what you have to do, you have a bunch of priorities that clash.
All right.
They all collide and they all become number one priority at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's impossible to get it done because you've wasted time.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, if I was to talk to my myself 30 years ago, or what I wish I had known then, it would really be to, respect everything that needs to get done and do what I have to do before I get into what I want to do.
Right.
I remember, and this is going to sound a little bit out of place, my whole life I hated vegetables.
Okay.
Hated vegetables. So you give me a plate, my favorite food on the planet, rice and peas.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But the full plate is this: jerk chicken, rice and peas, curry chicken gravy, 4 scoops.
Okay.
And there was always vegetables on the side.
Right. Steam veg.
Yeah, man. Complete waste of time.
Yeah.
But, your vegetables are probably more important than the rest of it. Certainly more important in terms of health and nutrition than your rice and peas.
That's right. But the peas is considered vegetable, is it not?
Yeah, it's a legume. But the point is, the whole plate needs to be eaten.
Yes. Yeah.
So what you do, eat those vegetables first.
Yes.
And then get into your jerk chicken and your rice and peas and curry chicken gravy.
Yes.
Do what you have to do. And it's what I tell myself. Listen, and I tell my young self, get rid of the stuff that you have to do.
Yeah.
Do it right, do it well. You don't have to think about it again. And then take all the time you want enjoying the good stuff.
Right. And that's what you tell our kids, right? And they probably don't understand it and they don't get it, but it's eat that. And if you notice, even with the vegetables, what do? And you chew it, maybe use some water, drink it down and get it down. And then when it comes to the rest, then you can relax.
That's it.
Yes. So it's the same if you put that in any bucket. In any bucket, it's the same
principles.
Yes, man. Yes. So these are some of the little tidbits that we got to take, because we say it all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't transfer it to the different aspects of our lives. And that's the key, man, is to transfer it to the different aspects of our lives. And if we can do that equally, everything will grow.
That's right.
Yes,
that's
man.
right.
Yeah.
It is one of the keys to success.
Yes.
In fact, one of the most fundamental keys to success.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that and it's a nice nugget that you can kind of take with you, right? Is just apply the sort of things across all the aspects, right? So the little things we say, so something as simple as eat your veggies first if you don't like the veggies.
Simple.
Right? You can do that with anything you do.
Yeah.
Right? If you think of basketball, if you're trying to be a better basketball player, what's the thing that you hate to do most? It's probably running.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Doing we call them champion makers or suicides, right?
Absolutely.
So do those first. you get it out the way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then do the dribbling and the shooting, because that's the stuff you like to do after.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But get it out the way so it's done, because you have to do it.
That's right.
Right? So get it out the way.
You know, I was talking about being a soccer player. I remember I'm right-footed.
Okay.
And one of the banes of my existence is watching a player who's one-footed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Can do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's not balanced.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And people who don't do the things that they have to do and only focus on things they want to do, they're not balanced.
Yes.
So, again, my father, good father, he said, you know, you're going to be a whatless player your whole life unless you learn balance. So he said, you're going to take time,
Yeah.
and you're going to learn how to kick with your left foot.
Yeah.
You're going to, and trust me, you're going to do it. So he said to me, you know, and my brother actually, but he said to me, if you touch the ball with your right foot for the next 2 games, is you and me.
So you know what that means.
But the whole point is that he wanted me to do what I had to do.
Yes.
You know, so that I could become my best and most balanced self in that context.
And that's usually the hardest thing.
Yes.
That's usually the hardest thing. And we always push that to the end.
That's it.
And then usually when you push it to the end, then the day is over, so you don't have to do it.
That's right.
And then, so you miss the day.
That's it.
Right? And then you try and push it to the end. Maybe you get it done the next day, but then the next day, then you miss a day again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then by the time you turn around, if you look at the week, you probably only done it twice for the week.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then are you better off? No, you're not, because you have to do that part.
No. I was hearing you talk about your kids earlier, and I'm telling you.
Yeah.
My kids right now, especially my son, I try to impart to him this particular thing.
Yeah.
You know, he has a tendency to every Sunday night have all these priorities. Assignments colliding at the same time. Right? He waits until that time. What's he doing in the meantime? Yeah. Exactly what he wants to do. His video games.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and push comes to shove, all of a sudden it's panic time. Got to get the work done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to impart that to him and get him to catch on to that early.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
So a lot of times it's just showing them. Because I try and show, because we do this program on Monday nights, and it's boys basketball. Well, I shouldn't say boys, because we have girls there. So it's between 10 and 14. Yeah. And then what we try and do is we try and do like a mentorship piece, right? Nice. Which is talking about just the life stuff. Yeah. And then we incorporate basketball. Yeah. Right? So we always talk, so the first 15 minutes is always just talking about stuff. Yes. We get into the basketball, and then how does the basketball drills that we're teaching you translate to life? Yeah. Right? So one of the key things that we talk about is just sort of taking your time and doing each thing. All right. And if you can take your time and do each things, every day you're going to get a little bit better. Yes. You know what I mean? So you don't need to cram, but if you start by even everything out, and a lot of times it's just planning. Yeah. And like you said, and for me, it's writing it down. Because when you write it down, it makes it real. Yes. And if you can write it down and plan it out, then that's half the battle. That's it. You start with a list. Yes. You know, in fact, as that became really important to me. Yeah. As I began to, become more proficient and successful in my career in particular. Yeah. Yeah. Itemizing things and that sounds like a big word. Yeah. No, it's just a list. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that's what we got to do. We got to simple things down, because when we think about it, this is so hard because it's so big and you got these big words. It's just a list. It's just a list. Point form list. Yeah. You don't even have to use 3 words per item. Yeah. Maximum. Yeah. Usually 2. Yeah. Yeah. Eat food. Yeah. Right? Do homework. Yes. Right? Yeah. Brush teeth. Right. Right. And you just organize them in sequence, and then you can get everything done. Yeah. I mean, one thing popped into my head just now as well. I remember,
it's surprising. I'm speaking about my father so much, but
Yeah.
his voice echoes in your head.
Of course it does.
You
man.
know?
Yeah.
So he used to say, pay early or pay late,
Yeah.
but you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
And when you pay late, you're gonna pay more.
Yeah. It's all these little sayings, man, and it's so
but,
true.
But early and
Yeah.
late, it's all about time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's excellent, man. That's
Yes.
excellent. Well, thank you for coming to the show.
Absolutely.
We're going to bring you back again because we want to sort of talk about different topics as we go.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we like to do is just meet up as people
Yeah.
and sit down, eat, talk,
Mm-hmm.
vibe, and then once we do that, then you come up and we shoot.
I tell you what.
You know what I mean? So we're going to make this a regular thing because I think we have a lot to talk about. And usually when we sit around, we're just talking, but we're vibing as we're talking. And for me, we got to get this out to the masses.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to hear this and say, you know what? I'm going to list out all the things I need to do,
Yep.
and I'm going to tick them off as I go.
That's it.
And then they're going to see, wow, I did this for a week and it works. And then they're going to say, okay, I'm just going to implement this as I go along.
That's it.
And then they're just going to grow in leaps and bounds. And you know what they're going to say? Because I heard Ty talking about this on the Dixon Legacy podcast.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're definitely going to do this again. And we had a great time and good conversation because that's what I'm all about is just good conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, right? Because we want to get to like 1 million subscribers, right? And we want all of them taking something. And then for me, it's imparting that. It's like, this is what I heard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you about this. So maybe you should try this.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what I want.
That's where we're going.
All right, man.
All
All right, big ups. Nice.